This is a Gateway MX6926B. It's an old laptop from Windows XP era. It also says it's Windows Vista capable, Intel Centrino processor, enhanced mobile performance, Intel Core Solo processor. I don't know why that would be considered enhanced performance. It's got a 15.4 inch wide ultra bright display. It's a reflective gloss screen, but it is not a widescreen. It's pretty you know, it's the older 5:4 ratio. Let's have a quick look. It's got a very nice looking logo there. Pretty cool cube. On the back we've got VGA and then the power connector. On the side we've got S-Video. We've got a DVD rewriter, CD rewriter, optical drive, a vent. On the front we have got audio, some lights, some speak holes I think, and this is the latch mechanism. And then on this side we've got Ethernet, modem, USB, and two more USB, memory card slot, mini firewire, and let's connect it up to the power adapter. I've got a genuine Gateway light on AC adapter. That's the model number PA1650-2. And then underneath the laptop we've got a number of labels. This is the model number here, MA7. Takes 19 volts at 3.42 or 4.74. The power adapter I've got is 3.42 amps. And we've got XP Home Edition. Got a serial number. Got a little rubber thing here and then rubber feet. And there are multiple different compartments. So there's a battery here. Let's see if I can open that or get that out. I doubt it's going to work anymore. Oh look, it's got one of these little buttons that would show you the battery status if it worked. That's the battery there. We've got a compartment here, a compartment for the hard drive, and then a bigger compartment here. Let's have a look actually. Okay, so there's quite a lot of screws for this larger compartment. I've sort of already loosened these slightly just to make it easier and quicker. And then this one here has got a K next to it, so it must be for the keyboard. I expect under here we will probably have memory. We might have access to the processor. It should be a socketed processor, and maybe this could be upgraded with a dual core processor, but again, due to the age of the laptop and generally I don't know if this works. I can't remember if this laptop works or not. I've not featured it on the channel before. Aha, that's quite neat. Got a large copper heat pipe, and I think we'll have a processor under here and chipset under here. Perhaps this would have been graphics and fan. There's not much dust, and this foam looks in good condition. And then we've got the memory here. So we have got PC2, GDR2, 256 megs of RAM. So I expect we've got two of these, meaning we've got 512 megabytes of RAM, which isn't really very much. I mean, it'd be fine for Windows XP, but isn't very much for Windows Vista. I'm not sure what kind of drive this takes. It's got a UK phone number for telephone support. But if this takes an old style drive rather than SATA, that could be a bit of an issue if there's any problems with the drive, or I think the drive might actually be missing from this. Not sure, so let's have a look. Yep, no drive, but we do have the screws, and it is a SATA connection, so that's going to make it easier to replace that. It's probably SATA 1. And if we have a look in here, I expect we may have some kind of Wi-Fi adapter or wireless WAN. So yeah, there's an Intel Wi-Fi adapter there, just using up half of that space. Looks like an Intel, and there's not much to report there really. I'm not sure what this section here is for. Maybe on some models there's an optional sort of docking port. Let's just put this back together, see if it posts, and if we can get it to boot from a USB, because that will mean it's going to be easier to install an operating system when we get that far. Maybe I have to take all these screws out before this will go in. So that'd be quite, well, more time consuming than I'd like. That's all the screws back in apart from the drive. And it also came with the Gateway Microsoft Office S&T Edition 2003 trial, Microsoft Works, Microsoft Digital Image Starter Edition 2006 trial, and a setting up leaflet. Thank you for your purchase. Managing your battery life, working securely. And it gives us a quick guide of all of the different parts, as well as how to switch it on and connect to the internet, which is optional. So let's connect the power adapter. Got a pink light, that's cool. And I'm now going to press the power button. That lights up blue. There were quite a few lights over here. The fan is spinning. And we've got something on screen, although it's quite dull, with a very loud beep. Let's see if I can turn the brightness up. So I've connected it to an external screen because this is quite difficult to see. It's very kind of dull and then also reflective. So all you can see is me. Hello. But the problem with this screen is that it's not adjusting correctly. I'll go back over to that side of the screen. So I'll just talk you through what we've got here. We've got Phoenix Trusted Core, 2004 is the date, BIOS version 77, build time 2006, CPU Intel T1350, so single core 1.86 gigahertz, 503 megabytes of system RAM, 2 megabyte cache, system BIOS shadowed, video BIOS shadowed. We've got a Philips DVD rewriter, mouse is initialized, error event log messages, error check date and time, system CMOS bad. Let's have a look at setup. And here we are in the BIOS. Let's see if we can get this to fit. It seems like it thinks it's some kind of odd resolution where it's not fitting on here. L2 cache is 2 meg, dual channel mode RAM, video memory 8 megs, and the system date thinks it's 2005. Plug and play OS, Windows XP, legacy USB support, etc. enabled. We've got a DOS setting, which is interesting. If you wanted to set this up for an older operating system, this could be a good laptop for you. Auto dim, interesting. Auto learning, TV mode, so this is for the S video out. We've got PAL or NTSC. We've selected the LCT and CRT. It thinks this is an external CRT. Quiet mode, internal LAN, etc. Security, boot. We've got USB, so we can boot from USB. And yeah, that's the BIOS. So let's put USB in it, see if I can boot from a USB drive. So I've connected a USB down here. It's a Ventoy USB. I don't know if that will work or not. Pretty sure this is a 32-bit processor. So we would need to select a 32-bit operating system on here. Not sure if I've left one on here or if I'll need to add one. We've got Windows XP if we wanted to install that. So we've got a i586 ISO here that we could try. Mageia 9 Live. We may as well see if anything happens. Looks like we might be getting somewhere. Although again, seems too wide the resolution for this. So it looks like it is booting. Do I have a mouse? Not yet. I've now got a mouse, but a black screen. Here we go. We're getting somewhere. I'm just going to go for the default options to speed things up. This is a UK keyboard. We've got a pound symbol here, dollar symbol here, pound on the 3, dollar on the 4. It's even got the euro on the 4. We've got the @ key next to the return and a larger return key. And we've got a mouse and it's booting up. Wow, we are here. We're in Mageia. I don't think it likes the resolution difference between these two kind of screens. I don't know what's going on with that, but we've booted into Linux. I don't know if there's meant to be a start bar. I'm not really that familiar with this operating system. We've got some things on the desktop, home, file system, trash. Oh, there we go. We've got a top bar and a bottom bar. So on this one, it fits in the screen. On this one, it doesn't. We've got this extra area down here. So that's, I don't know, interesting, I guess. We've got the time in the corner and a bunch of network connections. Let's have a look. Can I open the terminal or is it still booting up? Does seem to be a working laptop though. Quite nice. It's using about 65 watts from the wall. Does seem to be a little bit slow. Okay, I have opened a lot of terminals and let's just pick one of them, see if I can get it to do something, see what's going on. Yeah, it doesn't like this idea much. It does only have 512 megabytes of RAM, which isn't much. I'm not really getting very far with this. I think it might have crashed. I've definitely opened too many of these and it's not really responsive. Are you still getting the time updating, or is that frozen as well? It's a shame, but it does need more memory, and I'm probably trying to run something that is expecting 1 or 2 gigabytes of RAM perhaps, maybe even a dual core processor. This is a single core processor, so this would probably work really well with Windows XP for some kind of retro machine. I'll have a quick look, see if I've got a drive hanging around that might have something usable on it. I'm going to switch this off now, and I'm going to put a drive in and see if we can boot from this. F10 takes us to our boot menu. I'm going to try and boot from the Ventoy disk USB again. Doesn't seem to want to do it. It's just coming up with VT in the corner, although it did work previously. Might need to try and find a different USB to boot from. So it doesn't want to boot from the Ventoy USB anymore. It will boot from the hard drive, which does have Windows XP on, but it does seem to just blue screen when it gets to a certain point like that. So it could be a bad drive, or it could be an install that doesn't want to work with this laptop. So it probably does need reinstalling, but let me try a different USB that I can boot from. Here's what happens when you try and start Windows XP on this. And we get a blue screen. So let's try and boot from USB. Just decided it wants to crash instead. Does seem like it is being pretty intermittent in terms of whether it's going to start up or not when there is a USB drive plugged into the side. It's not bringing up the boot screen or the boot options, where it should give me the option to boot from a USB. Will let me go into setup though. Maybe. Maybe not. So the USB is not plugged in. It brings up the boot menu. When this USB is plugged in, it doesn't want to bring up the boot menu. And this will just blue screen again. So let's see if we can get the USB option again. Doesn't look like it. Let's try another USB drive. Okay, with this USB drive, it is letting us select it, but then we've got this corrupt symbol here. It's just a weird symbol and an R. I don't know why it's doing that, but it seems to have started since we put in the SATA drive, so I don't know what that is about. Yeah, a little bit stuck here. With the drive removed, it did let us boot from USB low. So let's just take the drive out, see if we can boot from one of these USBs. So the hard drive is out. USB is plugged in. And it should boot from USB because that's the only thing that it can boot from. Then again, maybe it doesn't want to anymore. Maybe it has had enough for the day. Okay, so it likes this Ventoy USB drive again. Not sure why. But it didn't like it when this drive was inside the machine. And we've seen that Mageia loads, but isn't really small enough, I guess. We could have a quick look at this and see if we get anywhere. But I don't think there's going to be a quick or simple solution for this laptop. I could try a different drive, I suppose. But yeah, I guess I'm reluctant to spend much time on this system. I have too many systems basically, and I don't have the time needed to get them all up and running. I could quite easily spend several hours on this system to find that it still doesn't work. This is an interesting thing. Let's see if we can get on here. So we're logged on. We've got top. Although, what just happened? Oh, it's booting into a GUI. That's nice. Playing some music for us. Yeah, I might give this laptop away on Facebook group for vintage computers. Got the same thing going on that we had with the other Linux distribution that we tried. We've got a terminal. This seems to run quite nicely. Let's have a look at memory usage. So memory 465, 9 megabytes free, so it just about fits in the memory that we've got, but runs quite smoothly. Yeah, we could probably upgrade the memory quite easily. Task manager. Don't know if you can hear the fireworks, but we're getting closer to November the 5th. CPU usage 18%, memory. And look, it says 163 megabytes of 465 used, even though top is telling us something different. That seems to be fairly common from what I've seen. But yeah, this seems quite responsive, quite nice. I suppose we could try and connect it to the internet, see what that's like. Although perhaps starting the web browser is going to use all of the memory. And it says it's got a swap set up. Interesting. Quite nice and colourful, and yeah, looks quite crisp and clear. Still waiting for the browser to load. Using Chromium. It's possible we might run out of memory though. What happens if we click more details? It is only a single core processor and we're running a 32-bit operating system. I don't think this is going to load. It's been at a CPU 100% for a long time now, and the mouse has frozen. Oh, it's back, but I just don't think it's got enough memory to run the web browser. But what would you do with this laptop? Let me know in the comments. I think probably the quickest and easiest thing would be to upgrade the memory. But even then, you've still got a single core processor, so it'd be better with an operating system like Windows XP. I don't know why it's not happy booting from USB when it's got this drive in there, but I could try wiping this elsewhere and maybe that'll help. But going to take more time than I've got today, and this is just one of many laptops that I need to sort out at some point. Maybe someone else has got some more time to dedicate to something like this than I have. Also, I'm not a fan of these glossy screens. I just don't really like them. Much prefer a matte screen. But it's in really good condition, this laptop. Yeah, just a shame it's not dual core. Again, someone could spend some time upgrading the processor to a dual core processor, more memory, and probably have a really nice little system. But for now, I think I will call it a day and see you in another video. If you got this far, thank you for watching. Let me know what the oldest computer is that you use. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and goodbye.